To Jim Acosta from Weaver, John C. of Roseman, California. I caught the gig that you did a while back, taking out Washington Post because you can't stand Jeff Bezos. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, dude. Trouble is, I'm so much connected with this guy, and not to mention the college campus I go to. It seems that there's no way of getting past Amazon one way or another. My school that I'm going to, a community college down here in the West Coast, they use the integrated technology, the networking, to work with the students that they have on the campus. We have materials stored on a program called Canvas that we utilize all the time. Our lesson plans are through Canvas. Our materials, our scholastic materials, our essays, processed through Canvas. And the Canvas is going through their AWS system. So there's no way in hell my school is going to be able to do anything about that one. Only if there was enough outrage for the students, if they understood that if we're going to be getting political at this point, we're going to be crippling our school, and I don't think the school board's going to like that one either. Either to get rid of the troublemakers, or maybe they would be doing something about it. We're going to ask proposal, but I don't know how many other students are going to be feeling the same way on that one. Personally, indirectly, Trump's got a real major effect on me through Bezos and through the millionaires and the billionaires out there. How many corporations and how many companies do we happen to deal with our life support in one way or another? Medical corporation to deal with our own health issues. Well, I'm barely dealing with them anyway. Kaiser Foundation. I should have been utilizing everything else with them for my own health. But are they also part of the Trumpian empire? Said before, I deal with the food situation, and that comes through the grocery companies like Kroger, but also Albertsons, where they're bought and sold through. A company called DoorDash that does all the delivery for me because I'm far away from the grocery, so I depend upon a delivery service. That wasn't bad enough. I got to deal with a corporation theoretically trying to keep this place together, this apartment complex. An owner had it for a long time but couldn't afford it. Left that in the open, so now I got a property management company trying to suck up enough rent out of us just to keep the place barely alive and barely working. If you haven't seen anything crawling around, well, that's probably the bug ward I've got. Going to get back to Bezos one more time. During the pandemic, apparently we depended more and more upon online, that we put the box out to the curb and into the garbage can. Box being all those places we used to go to, but no longer. We dealt with the necessity of online, which in a way, you hear the millennial sound in the background. It's the reason why I do the dark log, because I keep an ear on my dog, the caregiver I am to her. We depended upon the likes of Bezos, Ed World, and anybody else for that matter. And right after the epidemic was over, Mox has barely survived, trying to rebuild themselves. And online is still having a stronger presence than ever. Or Bezos can party on, dude. Entertainment, food distribution, materials needed, the clothing I wear, Wally World, and Amazon. And the food I consume, besides from Albertsons, Amazon, not Wally World. Wally World, I used to work for 5 years until I got killed, damn near killed in that company. Some people have one way of looking at it. The other one, I damn near got killed in the company. Couldn't sue them. Nobody would take the case. But I could get workers' comp. That was about it. And after that, I had a hard time trying to deal with them, even for a few items that I couldn't get out of Bezos and his company. So I drink powder products. I drink liquids. I ate ramen noodles. I deal with Spam, cans of fruit, and coffee, and sugar, and creamer. Look at it as nice little convenient items. Within the stuff that I can get out of Amazon, I could try making my own Thanksgiving meal if I could. Be grateful for nearly a $40 tray full of Spam. And something that would last 2 or 3 weeks if one lived on it enough without gagging, of ramen of sorts. Or being grateful that there was cheap enough clothing to get replaced when needed. You know, the skivvies, the socks, the t-shirts, the sweatpants, the shoes. Hard as hell to deal with that one. See, Morris, is when you started going after the Washington Post, and I know you were extremely right on this one. You were dead to rights on that. I used the LA Times for my research as well. Even they, throughout the year or two, they became a little more kinder. The new owners of it became kinder to the old gas bag and what he did to the White House. People's House, they called it, wasn't it? We lost that right when we voted the gas bag in, Jim. We voted it in. We voted our rights out. We voted for tyranny. We're getting what we got. We voted in the chaos and confusion, the racism to be exploded, people to get kicked out of their homes, families to be torn apart, businesses to shut down, borders to be built up with hate and fear going on, and the constant threat of military presence in neighborhoods. You want to hear the fun part about this one here, Jim? My neighborhood is right next to an airbase. Certainly you've heard of Edwards. This community wouldn't be alive without that damn airbase. That airbase has people living here. But all I kept hearing and seeing on the streets and also on the keyboards was zeros and ones. They still believe in Trump. Worse off, we got Kevin McCarthy coming back into office, or running to try to get back in office. He's coattailing the anti-Prop 50. He's tagging along with Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger tried to be part of California. He lived here long enough. He would have been considered an immigrant, wouldn't he? He was from Austria, which I'm kind of surprised that the ICE agents didn't go after him. I'm surprised. Became naturalized citizen. Trump having a field day regarding our citizens being naturalized or born in the United States. So according to him and Stephen Miller, it doesn't matter who's born here. You ain't white, you ain't Christian, you ain't sounding like you're from somewhere that they can understand your language or your dialect, you're open season. And nobody, Jim Acosta, would accept transparency, responsibility, or accountability. I did that on my videos a great deal. Diary of a Griever named John Weaver, which is me. I wasn't doing politics, not until we got Trump in office, and then all hell broke loose. And then we had COVID kicking in. And usually my channel was trying to deal with my own damn mental health issues, trying to keep me sane. So if I happen to commit suicide, at least there was a pattern that people could follow and not try to do that way. Maybe to try to find a way to save themselves. But with the politics kicked in, it changed everything. I'm like those who are commenting and belly aching and bitching at times, but trying to keep a mellower head, trying to figure both sides of it. I still get pissed off because I still don't like Trump. I never have. I don't like guys like him. And now he's opened up the bully gates out there where bullying people is acceptable. Downright acceptable to bully people. We can't fight back, because if we do, we get the wrath of God, according to him, and to Stephen Miller. We get to deal with the military. I've got clergy out there, Jim, telling people like myself, to keep it cool, keep a level head. We'll get through this by protesting so many times. And the bitch of it is, those of us who have been indoctrinated into the American philosophy of how America was supposed to be great, because we followed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We followed rules, regulations, the Constitution, to be fair with other people, to treat them decently enough. That our ancestors fought like hell. Yeah, it had been bloody costs, but we still had a country. One way or another, still had to fight itself, trying to get itself righted, so to speak. That we didn't have to live with prejudice, but we had to live with prejudice. Because what made our country unique is we had to deal with everybody's differences. That includes if we hated the other guy because of what we thought and we feared about the other guy. Anything and everything we thought about him was lousy. And it was also all right under the First Amendment, to a point, to protest how we didn't like that other person. And how the other person didn't like us very much either. But we supported each other's right to say so. We didn't have to appreciate the other person, but only the liberty that was already fought and paid for by blood by our ancestors a long time ago. And every time we had a major war, we had to keep fighting for those very same damn things. So my question is, Jim, how come we're not doing the same damn shit right now? We're fighting with words, yes. We're fighting with actions of protesting and trying to be peaceful. And it's damn hard not to point back at Trump and saying, fight me, asshole. It's hard enough to squash the idea and the feelings about, besides saying more than bite me to Trump, giving him and his clan, whatever hell you want to call these lunatics, give them what they want. He wants a war in the streets. He wants to destroy everything we have built and every other thing we have. He's already done part of the work already. He's already allowed that shit to happen. And we couldn't protest enough of it when it happened. And now a white South Afrikaner who took over and destroyed our government system. The underpinnings, the infrastructures. The people get kicked out and knowledge sucked up in data. Now he's got it. He's trying to become Uber, the trillionaire. And now he wants his people coming over from South Africa. While we had a country of pluralism, of differences of culture, getting thinned out. And this is supposed to be the United States of America. I am trying so damn hard to live up to the religious beliefs I was raised under, Jim. That anything I happen to say would be flagged through these weird-ass computer algorithms to the Trumpian ears and eyes, and not to mention over to Stephen Miller. He's like, now we got another guy against Trump supporter. Let's find a way to get after him. I feel like telling Stephen Miller, go fuck yourself, you little son of a bitch. You came from my damn state. And you wanted to be a racist motherfucker? Well, you are a racist motherfucker. Bite me, you little shithead. I'm an old fart. I got raised in California, too. I'm a lifer. But you are a mutant. I grew up under the pluralism here, Jim. I grew up under different cultures. I grew up under a gang war. And yet, there have been times I wanted to hate the other person like crazy, but the individuals, not the group. The single person would piss me off, not the group. And according to religious faith and beliefs that we have concerning about the Christian nationalists, they think they're trying to follow Christ. But if you happen to listen to some of those preachers, online and also in person, they will teach you a different story altogether about that one. Christian nationalist is an anathema to Christ's teachings. And it's becoming harder and harder to identify myself as a Christian because I would be either linked as a Christian nation or I'm a hypocrite. But in my Creator's eyes, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a Christian nationalist. I'm His. And sometimes the decisions I have to make will piss Him off. But then again, did we happen to piss off our Creator back in 1776 or even earlier than that? Or even way later than that? Yeah, we tried to do Martin Luther King's vision and version of peace marches left and right. It took up decades just to get some kind of equal rights going on, where everybody had the rights. And how long did it take? Many decades did it take? We wanted it done instantly. Didn't happen that much, did we? Try this one here, Jim Acosta. How's your history here? The French, when they helped us out back in the Revolutionary War, we finally had a chance to kick King George's ass. Did we ever help the French with their own revolution? Did we? And how did they do their own revolution? By the way, how's your neck? They revolved around this guy named Guillotine. Do we have to go through that one? We went through a bloody civil war. It's not just freeing the blacks, but it was also trying to keep a country from dividing itself. There are many aspects concerning about the Civil War. We kept thinking about the blacks mostly because of emancipation. And the blacks had to fight for their freedom, fighting with the North. Neighbor against neighbor, family member against family member. God, too much. Way too much. We fought against ourselves. We fought with ourselves. We fought against the world. We fought with the world. We got a tyrant. We voted into office who wants everything for himself. He's got a massive ego and he's with the succubants. I don't want to see what you want to call those vampires. Worse than leeches. To me, I don't know what the right and correct path is. All I know is we got a hell of a struggle, one way or another. Either we leave this country buried in a wasteland, or there's got to be a better way in dealing with that one, other than marching and screaming and yelling our heads off. If they're going to throw the military at us, Jim, are we ready to do more than just yell and scream? Now we have to challenge everything that we have, everything that we are, everything that we were supposed to be. Challenging our Creator left and right, and then marching in lockstep. The Minutemen alive in this century were having Depression and the Revolutionary War. You know, there's this little guy in the back of my head who fought a bigger war, but unfortunately didn't deal with actually did with his own issues regarding it. Gandhi. Some of his teachings are still haunting me right now, wanting me to be peaceful and passive about things. But he did a hunger strike. He did the violence all on himself by denying himself food in order to make the country see what the hell they were doing to itself. And also, he educated his countrymen in India, his fellow Indians, not to provoke, but to show them the pain that they're causing by having them create the pain and see it. The bitch of it is on this one, Jim, it doesn't work in our country. We're showing them the pain. We're showing them the outrage. Is it helping? Is it doing enough? What is it doing, and what are we doing about it? You talk about going against Washington Post and telling Bezos to go stick it by taking out a subscription. Fine. Post still survives. There has to be enough of an outrage to cripple the paper. Much like with Amazon, I got to deal with. Only when you have a lot of people depending upon this damn thing, it's going to be collapsing a hell of a lot more. And are we ready to deal with that one? Am I ready to deal with that one? I'm going to have to. Well, what happens if I still have to deal with a corporation that still feeds me? Where do I get the food then? We got to have food giveaways. Where are they getting it then? A lot of things we have to wrestle with that we're not liking. There is a lot of alternatives out there. Some of them are uglier than hell. Some of them are going right back into Trump's face. He's laughing at it. Well, how much blood does this son of a bitch and his followers want that much? Do they really want to see the country collapse? And for what? Their own greed, their own stupidity? We get into a civil war with each other? Is this what they truly want? You know, even after we happen to crush the physical, it's the legacy and the long-lasting effects after that. That's what drives me crazy. What's history going to be thinking about us if we hadn't fought back like our ancestors had against Great Britain? Problem is with Great Britain, they already had the forces out. And we threw up our own our Minutemen. Somebody fired a shot and all hell broke loose. But we need to have that going on here too. There's going to be a lot of ethical questions we have to deal with this one. And I'm not quite sure how. Because we're all in murky waters right now. The sharks are around us and they smell blood in the water. How long can you swim? That being said.